Oh yeah, all right. So I love what. There we go. A a couple of imperfections. I wish I could have seen that Marco's face was partially hidden, and then Min Kwan's finger pointing up. And then also, I would have tilted Katie's head a little bit. But other than that, I am very pleased. And I would have moved Angelo's head to make it more profile. But great picture, everybody. I love all the stuff on the tables. It turned out great. All right, good job. Everybody, raise your right hand. Pat yourself on the shoulder. There you go. Good job. All right. Okay, we did the Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball, right? All right, and we do the Nightmare? Okay. Fuseli, Fuseli. All right, I put in this picture to show you how large the artwork is. And this is our artwork, the Nightmare. Like I was telling you earlier, or on Tuesday, Fuseli is an Anglo-Swiss artist. He worked mostly in England. And this painting is an excellent example of Romanticism. The dark bedroom, the theatrical lights, this could be, like the tenebrism in this could be very Baroque-like. However, yeah, that's a horse peeking through the curtains. That's a demon resting on her chest. And she is sleeping on her back. All right, so it has nightmarish imagery. All right, now, the tenebrism in this looks like Baroque, but what makes it not Baroque? I think like all the movement. Like Baroque has a lot more movement than this. Anyways. All right, this incubus, it's a demon and it sits on the woman. So an incubus is a demon in male form that seeks to have sexual intercourse with sleeping women. It's believed to be the offspring between witches and demons. And the incubus was made up as an excuse to explain how young women got pregnant without being married. All right. So they blamed it on the incubus. It's also a psychological term for a nightmare that gives you the feeling of a heavy weight on your chest or stomach. And it's so incubus, sounds a lot like incubate, where you sit on eggs. So it comes from the same Latin root. All right, we have a horse that James noticed that is peeking through the curtain. All right, the horse has a crazed look in its eyes. It does have predator eyes, all right, and it's consumed with madness. This horse, and it has looser brushstrokes, which is new. Like these loose brushstrokes is a new thing. Um, we saw it a little bit with the Rococo backgrounds of Watteau, but mostly the artists that we've been looking at have very detailed everything, even like the subject and the background. All right, and the horse is a pun on a nightmare. A mare is another name for a horse. It's at night, so this is a pun that is in the painting. And the horse coming through the curtains is also like it's a reference to sexual imagery. Now, this image is rather weird, and it is very similar to surrealism that'll come later. In fact, the surrealists looked back to the romanticism style of artwork that had these odd images in it. So, by the way, up on the upper left, that is the Persistence of Memory painting by Dali. You've probably seen it before. And in the lower left, that is a photograph of Sigmund Freud, whom the surrealists based their work on. He's a psychiatrist, if you don't know. So Fuseli was one of the first artists to explore the human mind, which is what the surrealists did. And this painting is open to many different interpretations. The contemporary critics did not like the sexuality of this painting, but the Freudian scholars, the people that study Freud, look back at this painting and they like the subconscious nature of this painting, right? And one little interesting fact on this painting, a normal painting is in the upper left hand. If you look at the back of a normal painting, so that is what the back of a painting should look like. This painting has a painting of a woman on the back. What's happened though is that he painted a picture of a woman and it sat around and probably didn't sell it. Maybe it was just practice, and he needed a canvas to paint on. Either he couldn't afford to go out and buy a new one, or he didn't feel like going out to buy a new one. And so he just took the painting off of the stretcher bars, flipped it around, put it back on the stretcher bars, and painted on the back of a painting. Don't know if the woman in both paintings is related. So it could be, don't know. All right, so I'm so sorry. I do have information. So Fuseli fell in love with a woman. Her name was Anna. In a letter to her, he describes an erotic dream involving her. That's the way to get a woman, right? Creepy, right? Uh, and he describes a dream very similar to this painting. Anna's mom did not approve of this. Anna was not very interested in Fuseli. So Anna marries somebody else, and then this painting is very personal to Fuseli. So many art historians say that sleeping woman is Anna. And that this painting represents the erotic aspects of lost love. And some art historians interpret the incubus as Fuseli himself. And another interpretation is that the incubus is a representation of the male libido. All right. So I have a story time. Do we have time for a story? Yeah, I think so we do. All right. Okay. Has anybody ever seen A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare? All right. So we are in ancient Athens, and there's a couple of love triangles going around. So Hermia and Lysander are in love with each other, and Hermia hates Demetrius. Hermia's father wants her to marry Demetrius, the person that she hates. So Hermia and Lysander decide to sneak off into the forest and have some alone time with themselves. All right. So we have two couples. Hermia and Lysander are a couple in love. And then there's another couple, Helena and Demetrius. Helena is in love with Demetrius, but Demetrius does not love Helena. He loves Hermia. And Helena and Demetrius are also go into the forest so that Helena can be with Demetrius. And Demetrius is going to try to get away from Helena to get with Hermia. That's the plan. All right. Meanwhile, there is a group of actors that are practicing a play, and the play is terrible. The actors are terrible. And the worst of all the actors is Nick Bottom. And he thinks he is the best actor. And he thinks he's such a good actor that he should act out all the parts, not just the one that he's been given. So they go into the forest and practice their play. Meanwhile, King Oberon and Queen Titania are the fairy king and queen, and they're having a fight. And they are both having affairs. So they're fighting about that. So King says to Tuck, he says, I want you to squeeze this flower, the nectar from this flower, into the eyes of sleeping Titania, his wife. And when she wakes up, she's going to fall in love with the first person that she sees. I want you to find the most revolting person for her to fall in love with. That'll be a good trick on her, his wife. All right, so Oberon sees is in the forest, and he starts seeing the couples that are in the forest. He sees that Helena is in love with Demetrius, and he instructs Tuck to put the potion in Demetrius so that he can fall in love with Helena. Because wouldn't that be nice if this couple got together? All right. And then he puts the nectar into the eyes of Titania, and Tuck puts the eyes into the wrong person, Lysander. And he arranges for Lysander to meet Helen, not his girlfriend. All right. It's a mistake. And so he falls in love with Helena. And Helena's not interested in Lysander. She's interested in the other guy. Meanwhile, Nick Bottom is being an absolute jerk with this group of actors. Tuck sees Nick Bottom and doesn't like what he's doing. And so he plays a trick on Nick Bottom and turns his head into a donkey's head. All right. And then the other actors, seeing this, run away, and Nick Bottom doesn't know any different. He doesn't know that he has a donkey's head. So he's still acting out the play. And there's a part of the play where he sings a song, and he's singing it very badly. And that wakes up Titania, who falls in love with the first thing she sees, which is Nick Bottom. All right. And so she has fallen in love with him. There's a lot more to the story. It's a Shakespeare play. It's a very funny Shakespeare play, but we're going to stop the story here because this is our artwork. It's called Titania and Bottom. So this is the scene where Titania falls in love with Bottom, and she is surrounded by the fairies. Now, there's a couple of, you know what? We got 2 minutes left, so we got to look at a little bit of art history today. I will talk about this painting tomorrow. So in your notes, when I ask you tomorrow, where do we leave off? Say you were just about to show us the painting of Titania and Bottom. Got it? All right.